Wheels with Wondra from Snell Motors on the corner of Madison Avenue and Highway 22 in Mankato. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
Well, you got here on 4 tires today. 4 really good tires, I'm going to imagine. And we're going to talk about those tires today and just exactly how important they are.
Yeah, so we have the great Snell spring tire sale going on. And so before I get to the advertising part of things, I just wanted to talk a little bit about tires. When you look at your tire, you'll notice that there's like a million different things written on the side of it, and 99% of people have no idea what any of these hieroglyphics mean. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through what everything means, so that way you'll be a little educated on some of these numbers. And if you happen to look for some new tires or have any questions about tires, you'll seem super educated. All right, so the first thing, I guess I should say the biggest thing that most people look at is an example of a tire size, which is a P215 65R15.
Huh?
Right.
Yeah.
You break that down, okay? And then, some of the tire guys and gals and mechanics, they'll go, well, yeah, obviously, everybody knows what that means.
Duh.
So, kind of just walking through it. P is the first thing. That's the beginning of the tire size. And P just means it's a P metric tire. That means it's made with certain standards for the United States, and it's made for P passenger vehicles. If there's no letters at the beginning, so it just says 215, that means it's more than likely a Eurometric tire, which has different standards for load capacities. Just an interesting thing, but majority of everything you're going to see, unless it was imported, is going to be P. And then you may also see LT, which stands for light truck. So that way you have a light truck, which is going to be a tougher tire. It's going to be able to handle more of a load, as opposed to the P, which is just passenger for people specifically. All right, the next thing is the 215. That's going to refer to the width of the tire, and it's measured in millimeters from sidewall to sidewall. So the part that is, and I don't mean to get in layman's terms like extreme, but the part that touches the ground.
Right.
The flat spot.
Yes.
That is what I'm talking about.
From edge to edge.
There you go. From edge to edge, 215 millimeters is what it's referring to. So you know that if it's more narrow than that, you've got a pretty skinny tire. If it's larger than that, you've got a bigger tire. And that's how you can kind of look at it. Because if you do some tire shopping online by yourself, A, overwhelming. Always go talk to an expert. It helps out. But B, you don't know what the numbers mean, so you don't know the difference between a 215 and a 235. It's, how much that surface is on the road. And if you want to stop your vehicle, what's going to be better? A little bicycle tire or a big wide tire? Obviously the wide one, so you can keep that in mind on what's important to you. Next is going to be the aspect ratio. That's the 65. And that basically says, let's see, the height of the tire's width. So the bigger the aspect ratio, the bigger the tire sidewall. You've probably heard something called low-profile tires.
Yeah.
That'll be less than the 65. And then if you have like a 15-inch wheel, which is, and then all you see is just lots of tire, that's going to be more like an 85 kind of thing. And that's just the percentage of that circle, how much of that circle is tire and how much of that is wheel. Think of it that way.
What is the difference between a higher and lower one? Is it like handling? Is it the cushion of the ride? What is the difference between a higher and a lower sidewall?
A lot. That's a good question. Let's say in pickup trucks, for example, you've got a 22 or a 20-inch wheel. With that smaller tire, with less tire on it, you're not going to be able to put as much payload. So there's going to be different standards for loading in that. So you really can't run that large of a wheel and have that little of a tire and be pulling 3 horses behind you.
Sure.
On a car, for example, most of that is going to refer to like the wheel size and cosmetics is what it comes down to. And people like that the look of filling in the wheel well. It's been that way for 100 years. They like the larger the wheel, the more it fills in that wheel well, the cooler it is. And then you'd give up some of that sidewall. Most of the time on most vehicles from the factory, they don't ever put anything on there that's going to sacrifice ride for obvious reasons. But once you get to like a 20-inch wheel on a car, you may start noticing some things. And over a 20-inch on an SUV or a truck, that's where you might start picking up that it's not quite as cushy of a ride because you simply have less tire to absorb bumps and things like that.
Sure.
So that's a great question, and that definitely comes up. And when you're shopping, take that in consideration. Next thing is going to be the construction. So something I always thought, P215, 65R15, I always thought R standard for rim size, right? So R, the letter R actually stands for radial, and that means that the layers run radially across the tire. It's the construction of the tire. So I even learned something in this. The 15 is the wheel size. That's the wheel diameter. So R15 means this vehicle has a 15-inch wheel. So if you see R18, R20, you know what size wheel is on there. Next is, you'll see, now you got all of that tire size. That's everything there. The next thing is the load index. You'll see that on there, and that just says the maximum load that the tire can support when it's properly inflated. After that, you'll see a speed rating, which is rated in letters. For example, an H speed rating has a maximum speed capability of 130 miles per hour. Your daily driver to work every day, these speed ratings aren't really going to, you can ignore it. But
I see why they put it in letters, though, because they don't want people to look and go, oh, I could go 130 miles per hour. Exactly. Let's try that.
Now, if you got the performance cars, you really want to make sure if you're on the track that you have a speed-rated tire. Otherwise, you can easily have a blowout. And everywhere you look when it says speed rating, immediately there's a disclaimer that says, Goodyear does not recommend exceeding legally posted speed limits,
right.
Which is smart. Next is the DOT symbol, and that just means that the tire complies with all federal motor safety standards. And then the next thing is going to be the tire identification number, TIN. Think of it like the VIN, the tin. This is going to be like your VIN number for your tire. Tells you the factory location and the week and the year the tire was manufactured. So if you got a brand new tire and the VIN states that it's 5 years old, you might want to look at something like that. And then the next thing is going to be the uniform tire quality grading system. So you'll see it takes into consideration every tire is tested before it's put on the vehicle, the tread wear, the traction, the temperature capabilities. There's also traction grades. So in wet conditions, how good is my tire? So there's a AA, A, B, and C. If you're running around with a C tire on your vehicle right now, that is the least good in the rain. So maybe just think about that. Now also, let's say you have a vehicle that's like 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, and you're looking at the tires and okay, that's the tire size I need. Not necessarily. I always say to look at the placard on when you open your driver door. There's a placard there that shows you what PSI to put in all your tires. It also tells you the factory recommended tire size. So if you're currently running a 215, but the factory recommends a 235, I would recommend getting that 235 width on that tire instead of the 215. I would go by that as much as I possibly could, because just think of the engineering that has went into deciding the exact tire size for maximum fuel economy and stopping ability for your family. So I would look at that when you do some tire shopping. And when do I need to replace my tires? I skipped the penny thing. I never really understood it and was confident in it. But if you go to anybody with a tire gauge or you buy one online for $1, they're 3 to 4 seconds is when you want to do it. If it's pretty poor weather, you got some rain going on, 4 seconds, you really should consider it. At 3, you really need to do something. And if you're the one running around and you check your tires and it's completely smooth, please get off the road that your family drives on.
But it's not a drag strip.
It's it's a big question mark every time you start your vehicle. So tires are what connects you to the road. So again, don't go cheap when it comes to tires. That's the one thing in your vehicle that should be most important is getting a good tire. And they have different grades out there that say how long they should last. So just get something that's going to last a while so you get a good value for your dollar. Now, the tire sale. I'm almost done.
Okay.
Buy 3, get 1 free. Sweet deal, right? There's also a manufacturer rebate up to $100 if you get the right tire. Okay, so you basically buy 1, get 2 free. Or buy 2, get 2 free. And then there's also a GM card that you can sign up for that has 0% financing and all sorts of good stuff, and they give you a $100 credit if you buy a set of tires on your card. Boom. So you're getting $100 tires, right? Each one's $100. You spend $100, you get 4 tires. So it's basically buy 1, get 3 free, as long as you check every one of those boxes. As far as I know, this is the absolute best deal you can possibly ever get on buying a set of tires. Everybody talks about, got new tires, $800, $900, $1,000, $1,100, $700. What if it was $100, $150 for a set of tires? So if you're getting close, or even if you're not, let's say you're 5-30 seconds, buy them this month. Store them in the garage and put them on when you need them. So just a little public service announcement from Jeff Wondra.
There you go. With a little advertising mixed in. Who knew there was that much info right there on the side of your tire, right? Jeff Wondra with us today from Snell Motors. Wheels with Wondra. Stop and see him on the corner of Madison Avenue and Highway 22 in Mankato. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.